Good afternoon. Peter Klein, Chief Investment Officer, co-founder, Align Wealth. Here today, we're going to speak to you about a theme that we're working on here at Align Wealth that we call healthcare and technology, a welcomed disruption. Allow me to share my screen with you and go through some slides that I hope you find very interesting. As you can see here, this particular opportunity is focused on healthcare as we know it in the midst of a massive disruptive change, given the fact that so much data and connectivity is coming into this sector and this industry, changing it forever. It's just the beginning. We see an opportunity to allocate capital to a certain number of companies and sectors that are completely dynamic globally. So we think this has legs for many years to come. We're identifying long-term trends, as you'll see, and paramount to getting this opportunity right is understanding those trends, researching the heck out of them to make sure we have the right companies and the right sectors in each of those themes. And then finally, we're applying rigorous fundamental research to make sure we're buying the right securities, the right investments at the right time. So let's take a look at this in more detail. There's a large addressable market in the area of healthcare. As you can see here, chronic disease management is growing pretty much double the rate of the U.S. population, as you can see in these graphs here. So a lot of diseases that are chronic, may not kill you, right? But there'll be management of those diseases for a long time to come. What does that mean? That means costs, lots of costs, and therefore essentially opportunities for companies to manage those costs, and therefore technology iterations and technology developments that can disrupt those costs in some degree. Here is the healthcare on the home healthcare side, and you see there also a pretty substantial growth trajectory. So there might be some very interesting opportunities in the home healthcare market as we move along as well. And then here we see the expense involved, and it is considerable. We're talking about going from 3% of GDP at $14.8 trillion a year to as much as 4.1% of GDP by 2027. Huge amount of federal dollar outlays and overall net outlays, in the healthcare area. So healthcare spending, which is already the largest part of our federal budget, is going to only be larger. And of course, the COVID pandemic only exacerbates that issue. So let's look at some disruptive technological advances that might help stem the tide and provide opportunities for investors going forward. Here's the cost of genome mapping. We've been talking about genome mapping and own companies in that space for years, and it's a very important underpinning of the development and technological advancements in the industry. The genome is the key to personalized medicine, drug discovery, and the iterations that have to happen largely with the help of technology for the development of medicines going forward. Here's machine learning. Having the machines and algorithms taking in data and then being able to use that data to make healthcare decisions. We're seeing that as we speak in many different disease management programs. And you see here that the number of startups are increasing rapidly in the healthcare AI market, 40% CAGRs through 21. Explosive growth we've seen already. I can only imagine how much further we have to go. So we think this is an explosive opportunity, the intersection of both technology and the AI technology and healthcare. Here we're talking about the same kind of thing with AI, but here's on the venture-backed deal. So what's important here is that these venture-backed companies begin to become IPOs and regular companies, tradable securities. So this is the beginning of what we see as further growth in this sector. The secular trends that we're identifying from this particular opportunity set include sensors and connectivity through AI, right? Lots of companies in that area that are interesting and that are working to change the lives and the chronic disease management of many different diseases. Well care, right? Mental health care, virtual health care, digital health care. How about the real estate side? I mean, that's changing dramatically too. Where now, we no longer go to doctors' offices. You go to these sort of clinics, and everything is there for you. You could probably even do some outpatient operation stuff there as well. So that's changing the dynamic with respect to real estate. We talked about personalized medicine, where they look at your genome, they see what your issue is, they determine a particular medicine that's targeted to that genome. Folks, that's not 2020, 2050. That's the next 10 years. All right. So it's happening now, and it's exciting, and it's groundbreaking, and getting into this type of growth area is meaningful for investors, as is genomics, which is the granddaddy of what's powering much of personalized medicine. With anything, when we're talking about growth, we're talking about companies that are disruptive, we have to be very careful to make sure we keep our fundamental lens on, to make sure we're not overpaying for something that's going to be just hype, right? So that's where that's where our fundamental training comes in at Align Wealth, where we're making sure that we are always looking to compound our clients' assets in a meaningful way, taking advantage of what we think are growth trajectories and growth opportunities, but not going out on the ledge too far, right? That's key. We're always going to be very careful to keep our clients closer to the safe side than the aggressive side. However, in these cases, there may be very strong opportunities for long-term growth appreciation of assets, and we are looking forward to continuing researching these opportunities for the betterment of our clients and their families and their portfolios. So we welcome any of your questions, comments, and issues relating to the intersection of healthcare and technology. We see this as a long-term growth driver, and we look forward to talking with you, discussing the companies that we think are most attractive in this area and the timing to which we want to be involved with those. So by all means, schedule a chat with us, and we would look forward to chatting further and discussing and unpacking this thesis in more detail. Thanks very much. Have a nice day.